This is the Invite Health Podcast, and I am Amanda Williams. On today's episode, I am going to be looking at one of the world's longest used medicinal foods out there. This particular food has so many different therapeutic utilizations, and when you look at the clinical research and the science behind this nutrient, it is really quite impressive. So throughout history, we know that there's so many different ways that different cultures have recognized potential utilizations of certain nutrients that are derived from foods or the whole food itself, and how when we are consuming these different foods, how they help to optimize different aspects of our health. So today I'm going to focus on garlic. Oftentimes people consider garlic one of those foods that's very beneficial for heart health. And indeed, we certainly can see that based off of the science and the clinical research. But I'm going to go into more detail as to what other areas in the body garlic can be beneficial for. But before we get started, just a reminder for you to subscribe to the Invite Health Podcast today. Leave us a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. All of the information on today's episode will be linked in the episode description, and you can visit invitehealth.com/podcast for more information. So let's get rolling on garlic. Garlic, for so very long, has been looked at for its role in human health. And so as science has evolved, there have been more and more research studies looking at the possibility of garlic's therapeutic value in different disease states. Now, what the primary focus is looking at the different compounds in garlic and how these specific compounds are really working at this cellular level and enzymatic level to potentiate these different systemic health benefits. So across the board, we can recognize why adhering to something like a Mediterranean diet would be so incredibly advantageous. When you look at a Mediterranean diet and you see the foods that are incorporated into that diet, including things such as garlic, you can understand why. Say, for example, if you just had one clove of garlic, if we're thinking on the whole food aspect. And then I'm going to talk about the extract, so taking it in an actual supplemental form to yield those high constituents that come out of the garlic itself. But let's just look at just a clove of garlic. So say you are a fan of garlic, you like to use garlic when you're cooking. Think of all the different nutrients that you are exposing your body to by incorporating garlic into your foods. We're talking about a whole swath of different vitamins and minerals, things like vitamin C, for example, B vitamins. We can look at things like selenium, magnesium, all of these different nutrients. And oftentimes people aren't even aware of the fact that garlic contains omega-3 fatty acids. Now, it's a very small amount, but once again, this is the whole point of why, if you adhere to a Mediterranean diet, it's so advantageous for your overall health. Because all of the different foods are really yielding you all of these powerful nutritional benefits. And then when we start to look at the way garlic has been utilized throughout history and seeing how different cultures have incorporated garlic into their recipes, as well as being able to extract out these really potent active constituents from the garlic. So one of the things that they primarily focus on when it comes to research is allicin. And it is this allicin contained within the garlic that plays this really important role when it comes to not only dietary, but also those medicinal properties. So throughout history, this is kind of the main focus. And you can date this all the way back to, the 6th century, where they have documented the true medicinal benefits that go along with garlic. I oftentimes, in the world of vitamins and nutrients, find that garlic is commonly overlooked in terms of all of its many benefits. And I want to be able to share this with you. obviously we know when it comes to cardiovascular health, garlic certainly packs a huge punch. So I'm going to talk about some research studies on how garlic extract can be beneficial for your cardiovascular system. But then we're going to look at some other ways that garlic can optimize your overall health. But we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to tell you some science on garlic. We'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit InviteHealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's InviteHealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
And welcome back. Now let's talk a little bit about the science behind garlic. Like I said, for hundreds of years, different cultures have been utilizing garlic. And in the 1950s here in the United States, this is when a lot of heavier research started to track forward with garlic. And that particular focus was on cardiovascular health. So thinking about the heart in particular. So for many people, when they're, seeking broad range cardiovascular benefits, they'll turn to something such as aged garlic extract. And there's many different forms of garlic preparations when it comes to supplementation. But research on aged garlic in particular really kind of stands in a class by itself. And when you look at the actual chemical constituents that are derived in that aged garlic, packed with powerful antioxidants. This is why it is really very impressive that aged garlic has been shown in all of these different research studies to not only optimize heart health, but also when we're looking at things like metabolic syndrome and looking at your lipid levels or your cholesterol levels. So a really interesting study was done back in 2016 and published in the Journal of Nutrition. And they were looking at the different heart benefits seen with aged garlic. And through their population of all of the different data from all of these different studies, what they were able to determine was a reduction in systolic blood pressure upwards of 15 points. So they have all these different studies that they're looking at, and they extract out all the data. And from what they can determine, roughly about 15-point reduction in your top number. So remember, systolic is the top, diastolic is the bottom. Well, in the diastolic, they were finding anywhere from 5 to 10-point drop. And then when we looked at the cholesterol aspect of this, they were notating anywhere from a 10 to close to 30-point drop in total cholesterol. Now, they didn't just stop there. They were also looking for how garlic would affect inflammation. So they found a lowering in systemic inflammation, C-reactive protein level coming down. So C-reactive protein is a marker that you can assess in your blood that determines how much inflammation is actually occurring. Now, it's not cardiac specific, but oftentimes it can be a clue or an indicator that we do have inflammation going on within the heart or within the cardiovascular system. So we know that it has these powerful antioxidant properties to fend off oxidative stress. We know that it can target different mechanisms of inflammation. And we know that chronic inflammation plays a role in the formation of every single chronic disease out there, including when we think of coronary heart disease, we think of atherosclerosis. Aged garlic extract has been shown in clinical research trials to have a real finite ability to impede or inhibit inflammation. In the Journal of Molecular Nutrition, they discussed just that, and that was in 2017, looking at how aged garlic was not only targeting C-reactive protein, but also other markers for inflammation, including tumor necrosis factor alpha. In animal studies, they found TNF-alpha levels lowered by 35% when aged garlic extract was utilized. That's incredibly powerful. And it doesn't stop just there. Then you can look at studies looking at cholesterol levels. And we know that if we have any type of buildup within our vessels, plaque buildup, this can lead to a greater risk for a cardiovascular event. So a study that was performed back in 2018 that was published in the Clinical Nutrition Journal, they did a double-blind placebo-controlled trial looking at how garlic extract would affect different markers in clinically obese patients. So they had two groups. One group was given aged garlic extract every single day. The other group was given a placebo. After 6 weeks, they looked at their cholesterol levels and compared it from baseline. They found a reduction in bad cholesterol, that's the LDL level, in the group that was given aged garlic extract. So we already know that it has this benefit when it comes to optimizing blood pressure, recognizing that garlic extract and that allicin component within the garlic can help to enhance the body's ability to release nitric oxide. And we know that nitric oxide is utilized for allowing the blood vessels to dilate. So the more the blood vessels are dilated, the more optimal blood flow we have. Hence, if you have vasoconstriction, you're going to have higher blood pressure. So we know that aged garlic helps to enhance nitric oxide, which opens up those blood vessels. That was published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension. In that particular study, they were able to have clinically detectable blood pressure lowering effects and recognizing that aged garlic does so much for the human body. But I want to tell you a few more things that aged garlic can do to optimize your health. But we're going to take a quick break. So when we're back from that, I'll give you more insight on all of the benefits of aged garlic.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit invitehealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's invitehealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
And welcome back. Now let's talk a little bit more about aged garlic. In the Journal of Nutrients back in 2017, they were talking about the neuroprotective effects of aged garlic on cognitive dysfunction and neuroinflammation. So they were looking at the impact of beta amyloid plaques, which is a hallmark for Alzheimer's disease. Now, this was in an animal study, but they were talking about how neuroinflammation is a pathological predictor when it comes to Alzheimer's disease. And they wanted to see if aged garlic extract, being that it had been reported to have all these multiple biological activities, including anti-inflammatory effects, if it would do anything when it came to cognitive dysfunction and neuroinflammation. So in their studies, they were looking at different markers once again when it came to inflammation. So these different pro-inflammatory cytokines, things such as interleukin 1, things such as tumor necrosis factor alpha. And we know that when we have excess amount of these pro-inflammatory cytokines, this can lead to neuronal damage and even neuronal death. And what that means is that your brain cells become damaged and then die. That's not a good thing. We want our brain cells to have neuroplasticity, the ability to repair themselves. That's why key fatty acids, things such as phosphatidylserine and phosphatidylcholine, are so incredibly beneficial. But we also have to recognize that there are things that are in nature, things in foods that can also yield a significant amount of benefit when it comes to brain health. And being that so much focus on garlic generally stays in the world of cardiovascular health, you can't overlook the role of cerebrovascular health as well. So, after doing their series of different tests, their results indicated that aged garlic extract significantly improved short-term memory in these animal studies. And they found that aged garlic extract significantly minimized the inflammatory response by reducing the activation of things such as IL-1. These are areas where oftentimes I think are commonly overlooked when you think about all of the different medications that people will turn to when they have chronic inflammation. When you look at the different COX-1 and COX-2 inhibitors and NSAIDs, things such as ibuprofen, for example. But we know that many of these drugs can cause a various amount of side effects, including potential problems with kidneys, including problems with your liver. So, understanding the medicinal properties of aged garlic and recognizing that aged garlic could do so much not only as an antioxidant but also as an anti-inflammatory. Researchers have really delved into this and are now having this really strong foundational understanding as to why it is that aged garlic goes well beyond what we originally thought for hundreds of years now, that it is more than just for heart health. When we look at the entire body and we think about how our body responds to different nutrients, and once again, we can kind of go back and look at the nutrient profile of something such as a single clove of garlic, yielding you vitamin C, yielding you B vitamins, selenium, magnesium, and even omega-3 fatty acids. So when we're using aged garlic as a supplement, we are having all of these wonderful properties brought into the realm. We are having the benefits to fend off oxidative stress from free radicals that can do damage to our cells in our brain, the cells in our heart, the cells throughout our cardiovascular system. So this is why I wanted to kind of just give a highlight to aged garlic so people recognize that when you're using aged garlic extract, not only is it good for optimizing your heart health, it's also wonderful for optimizing brain health as well. So I want to thank you for tuning in to the Invite Health podcast. And remember, you can find all of our episodes for free wherever you listen to podcasts or by visiting invitehealth.com/podcast. Make sure that you subscribe, leave us a review. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health Today. And we will see you next time for another episode of the Invite Health podcast.